right, you mob, welcome back to the fucking show. Tonight we're going to call it the shit show because it's taking a weird turn, I have to say. And this is all a little faith-based, so if that's not your jam, you're probably going to hate this episode. But also, it's a Therapy Eve episode. 2 in 1 week. Fuck. Y'all boys are lucky. And girls. We don't discriminate here. Fuck. I can't take a sip of the drink without wondering if Karl's listening to this, waiting to message me to tell me I'm drinking too much. Son of a bitch. Oh, fuck. God works in very mysterious ways, y'all. We're discovering tonight. This is very spooky, and I'm being convicted here. Okay. We're gonna pause right now, real fucking quick. Real quick. All right, if I, monitoring's turned right down. If I wait for Karl to stop convicting me here, we'll never get the fucking episode recorded because it's every fucking word she says. God damn it, she's doing it right now. Fuck. Karl, I'm going to son of a bitch. Okay, well, this is a little more high energy, oh my God, high energy than I thought we were going to be tonight, so... good. Thank you, Karl. And I don't know. I'll talk about this in another episode. Maybe it's not the, or maybe at the end. I don't know how y'all feel about the faith-based stuff yet, which is why I'm still so hesitant to kind of like post the testimony episode and all that tomfuckery. So, oh, Karl, I see you convicting me. Makes me very unhappy. Please stop doing it. I want to live my angry little life. Okay, so the October 25th homework. Is there any admin? There is no admin that I can think of since fucking yesterday. Is there? Autumn and I hung out yesterday. It was lovely. Lots of feelings, lots of talking. I don't know. Again, very strange to be with someone who's so supportive and just kind of so willing to, what is going on with the monitoring here? Why can't I hear myself? Hello? Oh, we're clipping a little bit. Fucking gain. So strange to be with someone who's like so willing to put this level of effort in, because I really thought, we're not going to say it, because every time I open my fucking mouth about it, I get in trouble. So we're just not going to fucking say anything. But, so yes, things with Autumn are going swimmingly, which is very nice. I don't want to get too much into it. I did 2 episodes about how fucking great she is. So, sorry, I'm a little distracted here, y'all, because Karl is on a fucking roll tonight and is just like roasting me here about shit I've kind of been worried about and on the fence about. Son of a bitch, man. Ugh. Oh, Karl, I hope you listen to this, and I hope you know that this is spooky season infinity, and I just genuinely can't fucking handle this. Oh, man. But I don't want to change. This is like a one-sided conversation with Karl, because I try and limit myself when I'm talking to her, just because I'm like, you are not my therapist. I feel very bad, like trauma dumping on you. So, wait one. And then I end up just trauma dumping lightly on her. So, like, it's not fair to her. She didn't ask for this. She met me one time 15 years ago at a fucking party. And it's just, life is funny that we both kind of ended up as Christians, and I ended up as a mess of a Christian. So, but yes, Karl, please stop convicting me. I don't want to feel bad about doing all this shit when I do. Oh, she's gonna talk me into quitting drinking, and I'm gonna be very sad about it. which is probably a sign that I should let her talk me into quitting drinking, if I'm being fucking honest. No, we are going to cut back. And I came to that conclusion on my own, and then Karl kind of came out of the woodwork the other day and just gave me the whole, like, I'm concerned about you. I'm like, for my 3 drinks a night? Why? And then in my head, I'm like, you're 3 drinks a night every fucking day for the last 4 weeks? Karl, I'm not ignoring you, but I can't reply to this right now. Fuck's sake. Okay. You know what? We're going to double pause here because I have to reply to all these fucking messages here apparently all at once. And not just from Karl. I'm very popular all of a sudden. So I'll be right back for y'all. Okay. We're back again. You know what? And on top of all this, with Karl tonight and spooky coincidence. You know what? I don't even know if I can say coincidence, just kind of like spooky realizations. Oh my God, sorry. Oh, there it is. The trifecta. Yeah, on top of all this, like, spiritual, absolute borderline feelings hurting from and I've been instructed it's Master Karl from here on out. So that's what we will be referring to her as is Master Karl. But on top of all that, like, and really proving Karl's point here, and you know what, I have to go forward and record the episode and just kind of not give a fuck, because tonight's a write-off. We are where we are at this point. So yeah, not to prove Karl's point here, but we're 4-drink mommy here already at the beginning of the episode, so this can only get worse, unfortunately for you, Mob. But yeah, I got some bad work news today, and I just stuck into it. I can hear it now. Fuck, Karl. Very annoyed. Very, very annoyed that. Yeah, well, you can't even be annoyed. She's right. I just don't want to stop. So, anyway, excuse me. Moving right along to the original purpose of tonight's episode, a Therapy Eve episode. Oh, fuck. Okay. So let's dig into this, and then maybe we'll circle back and talk about Master Karl and the spookiness that is. Okay, so at this point, the podcast is so irregular, I genuinely cannot remember if I've talked about this or not. And you think I would? I've listened like the most recent 3 episodes a few times just to kind of make sure I didn't miss anything, posting them prematurely. But we're just going to pretend that I didn't talk about it, and we are starting from Scratcherino. So this was the homework for this past week. And, shout out, you know what? And let's dig into the whole thing. Jilly had me take a personality test and a right brain, left brain test, and my love languages as well. Where is this fucking thing? So prepared. Oh, we're tired, y'all. Okay, so I started with the personality test. I'm apparently a virtuoso ISTP-T, and the -T stands for turbulent, which is actually a fairly fitting description of me as a whole, so that part is right. I don't really know anything about it. I kind of like skimmed the description, but I'm sure Jilly will dig into it with me a little bit more tomorrow, so there was that. If you're into the Enneagram at all, I know that I'm a 6. I don't know what my partner number is. I want to say 9, but I could be wrong. Left brain, right brain. I was a right brain shock horror. And then my love languages, which Autumn thought was very interesting. So yeah, 33% words of affirmation, 27% physical touch, 27% quality time, 13% acts of service, and 0% receiving gifts. So that is actually pretty well in line with what I know about myself. So that was the first part of the homework, was go forth and do all these kind of personality shits. And because it ties into the actual homework, which was, who are you? You know what? I don't know if I ever posted this or not. I tried to do an episode. I think I did post it, and it's just such a bag of shit. I don't know why I should pull it down. But, for anybody wondering why any new listeners coming from the podcast grand birth into the world with episode 21, wondering why the episode 6, it goes episode 15 and then episode 17. Episode 16 is on a temporary hiatus because I forgot that the Riz Lord said a homophobic slur at the end of the episode, and I never cut it out because I didn't, at the time, think I'd ever give the podcast a general release. And now that it has, I'm definitely like, I better go back and cut that out for my boy. So I just haven't gotten around to it. I found the timestamp today, but yes, it's because the Riz Lord said a bad word. That is why episode 16 is missing, which is such a bummer because it's like one of my favorite ones. Because I was so drunk in it. Fuck. Karl, you're in my head, and I don't like this. Okay. Episode. Fuck. Okay, so that was from Karl. We're just checking our correspondence here because we're stone cold pieces of shit. Okay. So yes, the homework assignment for this week was who are you? Because as I touched on either in a posted or unposted episode, doing therapy has kind of like made me realize like, oh, a lot of these things I think about myself and held to be like rock solid concrete beliefs, they're not. They're a little more flimsy than we initially thought. So it's kind of in a period of... Sorry, guys. I ate a lot of fucking burritos, and now I'm fucking stuck into the piss, so I'm a little gassy. Hey, guy. Oh, boy. It's definitely kind of like, well, who the fuck are you then? You silly senorita. And that's kind of... I have a feeling that Jilly gave me this homework assignment knowing I would kind of crash and not do a great job at it. I tried, sort of. I did not do a great job, but... Maybe I should go back and try it again now that I'm drunk, but drunk-ish. Karl, settle down. Settle. I can feel you gnashing your teeth to scold me. Anyway, so that was the homework assignment. So let's just dig in. Fuck. Starting from the top. I believe the question was, who am I? Again, I have to say that you're really ramping the difficulty up here with these the last few weeks. Have I graduated to advanced therapy? Am I close to winning? Jokes. Just jokes. I've pondered this all week since our last session, and I genuinely don't know if I've come up with a good answer for it. So this might be more stream of consciousness than anything, which sometimes produces good results. Let's find out. Not really any notes to add here from podcast me. Jilly really has been kind of kicking this difficulty up in the dick the last 2 or 3 weeks here, which is good. It's nice to be challenged, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, why, Jilly? Can it be easy? Why can't healing and self-discovery be easy? Where? So that's my struggle. Okay, moving right along. And you know what? There's not enough here to like crank this into a 40-minute episode, which is why we're probably going to circle back and talk about Karl here a little bit at the end if we have time. So, fucking Apple Notes. Okay. Big yard. That will take it. Oh, fuck, I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm actually not sure where to start here. My default answers would be either broken or angry, neither of which are remotely as true as they once were. Of course, the anger is still there, just so much quieter. And I know I'm still a little bit busted, but I think everyone is to varying degrees. My brokenness doesn't define me anymore. It's just a small fact about me. But there's something that should probably be slapping me in the face. My brokenness doesn't define me anymore. So I wrote that like without a thought in my head, because stream of consciousness, I kind of just fucking type and type and type and type and type. And whatever comes out, comes out. And then half the time Jilly's like, I really liked what you wrote. I'm like, did you? Because I don't fucking remember what I wrote. I never went back and read it. So might be. But yeah, writing that out and realizing that it's true is kind of fucking crazy. Because for too many years, for a very, very long time, I defined myself by, it was like a personality trait. Like, I'm so fucking busted. Look at the damage the world has done to me. Look at how people have hurt me. Look at this, look at that, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm a little fucked up, but we all are. Everybody's a little fucked in the head. And like, this is not a defining characteristic about me. It's just a thing I have to deal with, that, you know, I've been hurt by people and by the world, and yeah, that's just something that happened to me, not something that defines me. And that's very cool to have, reached this point and not even realized it until I wrote it out. Oh, Ice Cube, fuck. And who knows, maybe Jilly will skip right over it tomorrow, and it won't mean as much to her as it does to me, but very, very cool for me. Yeah. Moving along. I'm actually at a bit of a loss for words right now. I never thought I'd get to a point where that was true. But like we talked about, one step at a time, and suddenly I'm here. So yeah, basically what I just fucking said. I lost my place. But this actually deepens the original question more now, because if I'm not defining myself by how broken I am by past experiences, then who am I? What defines me? I can tell you characteristics that I have, things I generally agree with, but I don't know that I could find the words to succinctly describe myself in a way you're looking for. But maybe that's also an acceptable end state from this homework, that I don't have an answer and I'm still figuring it out. So yes. Welcome to Health Country, guys. I'm basically David Goggins for smoking cigarettes and talking shit. Yeah, and it's kind of like, oh, well, this like core thing that was like fundamental to who I am as a person, like it was a personality trait at a certain point. Like, I'm broken, I'm so broken. If that isn't something I believe anymore, and it's just kind of this small lowercase f fact about me, then like that even more makes me wonder, like, who am I now? Because like I said, yeah, I'm busted, I'm a little fucked up, but we all are. And it definitely is not this defining thing about me anymore. It's just a thing that happens to be somewhat, that happens to describe some parts of my life. Like, and you know what? Actually, spoiler alert, guys, we never really got to a satisfactory conclusion on this one, because I was distracted, and honestly, I just could not think of I don't know who I am, I guess, apparently, is what this means if I can't think of a fucking answer for it. But again, I'm wondering if maybe Jilly thought I'd go into this and I would come back and be like, here's some thoughts, but like, I don't have a concrete, definitive answer for you about this. So help me, maybe tease some of this shit out with me. Fuck. Okay. Back to the, ooh, foul. So sorry. Back to the homework. I'm really proving Karl right here. Sitting down to do the podcast when I'm fucking 3-drink mommy already. Moving into 4-drink mommy. Fuck. One thing I have been pondering the last few days is how much I let my actions and choices be dictated by fear. Within this new relationship, I find myself wanting to have knee-jerk reactions and self-sabotage, and it's only because of therapy and a tremendous act of will that I've been able to grab that bull by the horns and drag it back on the path. But it comes back to a fear of loss. Semicolon, because your boy's a word nerd. Constantly afraid that it won't work out and I'll never find a connection like this again. which has proven to be untrue more than once at this point. So I really should look to lived and learned experiences instead of made-up catastrophes my silly little brain invents. But that fear is still there, that little voice in my head, telling me all the negative, untrue things. In an odd turn of events, Autumn actually reached out to me without me telling her and told me she wasn't doing any of the things she thought my silly little brain might be making up, which in turn caused its own level of panic because April would reassure me until I became too dependent on it and alienated her. Definitely still a ways to go, but I can at least identify where the thoughts come off the rails and redirect them. And my new favorite word, intentionally. It's all about thinking and acting intentionally. But what do we want to dig into here? Yes. So fear has always kind of been a motivator for me. Fear of conflict, fear of loss, fear of like, just those two, like fear of conflict within a relationship, fear of loss, fear of being alone, the fear that I won't ever be able to replace some situation with something equal or better once it's gone because I had to give it, like, you know what I mean? Like, and this can also be applied to my current face struggle. Fuck's sake. That might have to be its own whole fucking episode here. The church episode that was round 2. And I won't post that one either, so nobody will ever fucking know. But church mom texted me last night asking me how surrender was going, and then Karl messaged me today. So really well, guys. We're killing the game here. Really knocking it out of the park. I've surrendered so much I've taken control again. It's full circle. And before or maybe how long are these? 3 minutes. Holy fuck, Autumn. This senorita will take a quick break and we will be right back to dig into this fun stuff. All right, and we're back. Shock horror. Not situated, not prepared. What kind of fucking podcast would it be without it? Okay, back to what were we talking about? The fear, I think. Yes. Finding myself wanting to have knee-jerk reactions, self-sabotage. So yes, this was kind of referencing yesterday. Autumn and I had plans, and they ended up working out very nicely for everyone involved. But there was a bit of... Sorry, guys. Forgot to breathe. Just had a cigarette. Woo! And a big yawn! Special guest. I don't know if you heard it in the front half. The dryer was going. It's been a while since we've had him on. I'll set the other mic up right in front of him next time so he can really be the featured guest. No, we didn't have, like, it was funny too because I asked her, like, are you like a planning kind of girly or are you like a girl math kind of girl? And she's a planner, which thank fuck, because I'm a light planner. I like a good plan. I like to know what's going on. I don't need a fucking laminated itinerary, but I want to know a rough outline. So, and then of course, yesterday it was kind of like, yes, I am a planner. Shock horror. We have to play Sunday by ear. So, on the one hand, fuck's sake. I can't be upset because there was no plan, and I knew that the day was going to go like it did. But I'm going to want to cut that out when I listen back. Fuck. ASMR. This is why Fro Drink Mommy shouldn't be allowed to do podcasts because I sound like a fucking hot mess. Oh, the dryer's retired. So long, my friend. Until the next episode. Train of thought, goodbye. So yeah, like I can't be mad at her. I knew it was going to be a fuck show. And then, but at the same time, there was things where I was like, okay, well, can I be a little mad about this? A little upset? But no, I couldn't. And it was just me being crazy. And I kept it to myself, like, fuck. Because with April, I would have not been able to resist the intrusive thought and let it out. And next thing you know, it's a fucking fight. So, fear of loss. We've talked about this. And then She messaged me yesterday actually and was like, "Hey, I don't want you to think like I'm ignoring you or that I'm bailing on our plans. I definitely don't want to reschedule. Like, this is what's going on. I know you said you kind of get funny about this stuff." And I was like, no. Please do not reassure me, because I took this for granted with April and it ruined the relationship because I ended up needing it too much. So I replied, I was like, you do not have to tell me this. I appreciate it. It is A-okay. I totally understand. So just a little bit of panic-inducing moment there where, again, a lived and learned experience where I was too reliant on someone else's reassurance, and then it ended up being a big part of what ruined the relationship. So now I'm scared to even receive it from a partner. So that's fun and interesting. More damage April did. Thank you, Senorita, for that one. And that's not fair. We can't even say she did it. I did it because I was so overwhelmed with receiving it because I never got it from January. So yeah, that's very unfair to say. That's yeah. I can't even blame her for that one. That one was on me. Shock horror. Holy fuck, guys. But I joke about the deviated septum and my stepsister and I getting a Groupon for it. Like, maybe it's not a joke because I am stuffed up. And yeah, and then, like, I think we actually did an episode about this where I was like, it was literally the last one, you fucking mess. It was just kind of like, I identified the thought and was able to correct it. So that's very, very cool. But moving along here. Now, you know what? Wait one again, guys. Honestly, this episode might give episode 17 a run for the worst episode we've ever fucking done. At least this one's fucking funny. To me, anyway. Karl might not think so. Nobody else will. Fuck. As long as I'm laughing, I don't give a shit. Okay. Another thing I guess could be said about me is I am a pessimist. I tend to expect the worst outcomes from situations and oftentimes accidentally make those outcomes a reality. Learned and lived experiences have definitely contributed to this attitude, and it's again another one I need to intentionally try and change. Expecting the worst tends to produce the worst, and I'm tired of feeling negatively about every single thing, especially ones that should be positive. I did a podcast about this the other day and ended up spending 5 or 10 minutes going on a little rant about how I'm worth a shit, I deserve good things, I'm deserving of this kindness Autumn is showing me, I'm deserving of having someone want to treat me like that, etc., etc. It was very raw, I am strong kind of moment, but I guess I needed to say it out loud and tell myself because I'd been wrestling in my head with stuff all day. Fix me right up. So maybe I need to sit down in front of the mics every time I start thoughts spiraling and just repeat out loud the opposite of whatever I'm thinking. So yes, I am naturally kind of a pessimist, and that is from lived and learned experiences of when you expect good, you will receive bad. And that's not necessarily true by any means. Jilly's definitely tried to correct this out of me for sure, but it's just kind of been my lived experience in that when you expect good things, you should be double prepared to receive the opposite plus worse. And a lot of that, and you know what, unfortunately, April is the most relatable way to relate these situations because she's the most recent example of a lot of this stuff. So oftentimes accidentally make these outcomes reality. Yes, I did this with April. I was so fucking scared of losing her, and I just really couldn't even fathom it, and I held on so tight that I made it I made that outcome happen. So again, I often self-sabotage and turn things into like a self-fulfilling prophecy and then wonder like, oh, why does everything suck? Why doesn't everything ever work out for me? It's because of you, man. Holding on too tight and kind of you just can't let go. So but we've talked about that. We're working on it. But yes, it's really difficult. It's not difficult. It just sucks. Like going through life expecting the worst and being this miserable fuck all the time. Like nobody wants to be around that guy, and it's just kind of a fucking bummer to be because you're like, why would any good thing ever happen? Everything sucks and it's always going to suck, and this is just life, and that's just shitty. And I didn't realize how shitty it was until I started trying to live another way. So shout out to therapy for showing me blah, 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 blah. But yeah, and then the whole rah-rah thing we had in the other episode where y'all might have heard it. But yes, you just kind of got to, everyone's favorite word, intentionally. You just got to repeat it and believe it and speak it with intention. Like, I am worth a shit. I am worthy of this. I deserve this, blah, blah, blah. We've gone over this. You guys don't need to hear me hype myself up again. Yeah, I can, but you definitely don't need to hear it. Yeah, asterisk editor's note, refer to episode 23 if you want to hear me go rah-rah cheerleader for myself. So, yeah, and wouldn't that be funny if Jilly was like, hey, yeah, every time you start to thought spiral, just record yourself. Fuck. That's a terrible idea, Jilly. I don't always have the mics on me. I have to go work out of town here for a week or two. I'm trying to figure out how to make a portable podcast setup here. I think I can do it. We might lose some audio quality because I might just take the Rode into USB Mini with me just for ease of convenience and leave the other two here. But we will see. I will dick around with that maybe tomorrow. And then moving right along here. I am passionate about people and hobbies. This can also be a negative, though, because I can hyperfixate again on people and things. It's often been the downfall of relationships, romantic or platonic, because I feel much stronger than the other person, and it leads to lightly self-destructive habits like financial recklessness when I become obsessed with the next hobby. I know there's some positives to this one, just have a hard time. Oh, gosh, guys. That last sip went down funny. So many tacos inside of me. I know there's some positives to this one. Just have a hard time coherently putting them into words. The passion just makes me intensely loyal and protective towards the ones who show me they're worth it. That's more and more how I'm measuring relationships nowadays. How much time am I willing to invest into this? Because I'm pretty well done investing in people who can't reciprocate. Off-topic, sorry. So, the passion. This has got me in trouble again. And I hate to bring her up again, but with April, at this point, am convinced I felt more strongly about her than she did about me. And I overplayed my hand, and I probably smothered her to death, if we're being honest with our fucking selves. But, yeah, that's just a good example, is just I was way more into her than she was into me. And it was one of many downfalls of that relationship. So, and the passion can be good, right? Because like you look at something like Star Wars, where I hate to be the adult virgin nerd here, like I'm an adult virgin, but like so passionate about Star Wars. More and more kind of, despite Disney's fucking little Mickey Mouse fingers and everything ruining it, the movies anyway. Like, I don't know. I'm just so passionate about it, and Autumn has asked me about it, and I've tried to explain it to her, like, because she's never really seen it, so she's like, well, how do you watch it? And I'm like, well, there's competing trains of thought, and I've been debating this, actually, because she said she'd sit down and watch all of it with me, not knowing what she was committing to, because I was like, girl, you are definitely committing to, like, 6 movies, 7 seasons of Clone Wars, 4 seasons of Rebels, Bad Batch, Obi-Wan, Mando, Book of Boba Fett, like Ahsoka, Tales from the Jet, like all of these things. I was like, it's going to take us like a fucking month, honestly, or more, depending on how often we hang out. Are you prepared for that? Like Clone Wars alone is a huge investment. So, the show, not the movie. Although the movie is a fucking big investment too, just to sit through half that dialogue to get to the end of that movie. So, and yeah, growing up is realizing that Darth Maul was the true victim of Clone Wars more than anyone. And I will defend the clones were men and deserved a choice until the fucking cows come home, which is kind of a weird hill to die on for fictional characters. But yes, they were men who deserved a choice and didn't deserve the lives they got. And there you go. That's the passion making me fucking autistic about shit. And like, but yeah, again, it definitely, and then there's the flip side of it, right? Where like I start the podcast and I spend $100 on a mic or whatever, and that was good enough. Honestly, I did not need to do what I did. And then the next thing you know, I'm fucking $500-$600 into this, have all this audio equipment, and I'm always kind of on the lookout for upgrades and shit I can be doing. I have my eye on the Rode mic arm. I want it so bad. We're gonna wait though and be a patient boy. And then the intensely loyal and protective aspect of it, like this is kind of a turnoff for some people because I naturally kind of just embrace that protector provider role, and in kind of today's culture, that's a little bit frowned upon because you want they blah blah blah. What's the best way to say this? Like it's kind of all about like girl boss, independent woman, blah blah blah. Nobody really wants that kind of role. Well, not a lot of people don't, and the ones that don't are not someone I'd be interested in being with because I kind of lean a little more into traditional gender roles to a degree, but not fully. It's hard to say that without sounding like a raging sexist, so I try not to touch on it too much. But yes, if you have earned my trust and if you've earned my trust, there's nothing I won't do for you. I'm just, once that is solidified and whatever in my head, like loyal to you till the day we die. For the most part, there's been some edge cases where that has come back around, but it doesn't matter. It's neither here nor there. The point is like this passion that I have, I really channel it into like protecting people and and just like so loyal. The Frenchman is a great example of this. I uprooted my whole life and moved to another province for him for 6 months because he asked. So basically, and he didn't even ask. I volunteered, and I can't even put any blame on him because I was definitely trying to escape a situation with January there and some work drama. So, but yes. So it does kind of have positive things that easily can teeter into negative, right? Like the protectiveness and the loyalty can easily become too much. So it's kind of a balancing act, but yeah. And then we come to the end here. Honestly, this is much harder than I thought it would be. I really am drawing a blank and forgetting every single thing I've ever known about myself. I've got half a feeling that you thought this might happen, though, and are going to want to tease out some of this in our session this week. So I guess we'll see if I was right or not. I'm sorry it's not up to my usual standards, but I genuinely struggled with this one and couldn't really think of any good answers. Which I guess is concerning all on its own, because who is someone who doesn't know who they are? Kind of makes me feel like an anomaly, if I'm honest. I kind of know the bare bones of me, but not the rest. So that was the end of it, right? Like, what is that? I honestly think Jilly kind of really expected me to struggle with this and come back with something, but not a fully formed answer. And then we're going to spend tomorrow's session kind of teasing this out and yarning about it. And she'll kind of get me on the path and do some inception therapy. And the next thing you know, 6 weeks from now, I'll be like, oh no, inception therapized. I'm on like level 5 here somehow suddenly. And like, who is someone who doesn't know who they are? Like, am I a blank slate walking around the world, impressionable, waiting for some to just be like a chameleon and take on someone else's personality? Because I do mirror a lot. New people anyway. I don't really do it with the Frenchman anymore. I kind of just tell him to suck shit and fuck off. So in the most loving way possible, because I know his wife might listen to this. But I don't know. It's just kind of a weird question to ask, but like, how can you go through life if you don't know who you are? Like, what do you stand for? What do you believe in? What are your convictions? Like, and this is what we're trying to figure out right now, because who I thought I was, it was all very kind of like tied up with January and kind of that mess of a relationship. So now that I'm single and just me and I'm on this journey of like self-discovery, like who the fuck am I? Oh, and I know for the most part, but yeah. You know what? I don't think we'll dig so much into Master Karl here at the end, just because that might deserve to be its own standalone episode of how I'm in this spiritual game of tug of war right now, and it's very difficult and painful, and it fucking blows. So, yeah, we'll save that for another day, perhaps. I would very much like to get Karl on the show, to tell you the fucking truth. Like, hey, let's meet for the second time, and I'll get you in the fucking podcast. Wishful thinking, but I don't know. I think it would just be fun to kind of talk about this stuff in real life, because we talked about it tonight, and I was like for whatever reason, I value your opinion over a lot of like other Christians in my life, just because I know that you're like this straight shooting, no holds barred, like ball busting senorita. Like, I know you're not going to hold back, because like we don't know each other that well. So you have no reason to sugarcoat shit. So if I ask you something and you have a hurtful answer, you're going to let her fly, regardless of how you think it's going to make me feel. And she really has no problem messaging me and being like, bro, you are fucking up, like a lot, and you need to stop fucking up. You need to unfuck your life. So there's a whole kind of weird backstory. No, not backstory. It's just, we realized tonight, like, it's a whole thing. And I'll save it for like a more its own little faith-based episode. But yes, very, very interesting. And it's hard to like say coincidence when you're a Christian and not just feel disingenuous, because like we know, like, it's fucking God's timing, and it's the funniest timing you've ever. It's very frustrating a lot of the time. So, which we can dig into again in a future episode. Excuse me, because I need the practice. So, a few days here, the podcast might be going on the road, just with this work situation. So, yeah, I think I touched on it earlier here a little bit. We're going to see how we can do to make a mobile kind of podcast setup. So, for now, end of the episode, housekeeping. If I didn't directly send you the show, how'd you find it? If you go to the episode page on Spotify and scroll all the way down to the bottom, there is a Q&A box that'll say something silly like, what did you think of the episode? Because I'm too lazy to update it. If you wouldn't mind heading on over there, if you listen to the show on Spotify, and just tell me how you found the show, because the analytics tell me that about, and the number's gone down actually, 60-70% of you come from within Spotify, either being served the show by Spotify itself or stumbling across it. And I'm just kind of always eternally curious how the internet and the algorithms work. So if you wouldn't mind just shooting me a little message telling me how you found the show, I would be eternally grateful. The podcast has an email. It is dumbereveryday42@gmail.com. That's the name of the show, 42, no spaces, @gmail.com. Send me your questions, comments, concerns, criticisms. Don't tell me to kill myself. That's fucking rude. And just to kind of echo the sentiment from the last episode there at the end, like, if you resonate kind of with my brand of mental illness and me talking about this and stuff, like, shoot me a message. And I don't have to talk about it on the show. I can reply to the best of my abilities, but like, it does help to just kind of get shit off your chest, and it's easier to do with a stranger. So if you have something you need to fire off, like, you're not alone. And I am always happy to listen and do what I can for anybody who wants to reach out. So just don't ever forget that, like, you're not alone. And you know what? You're only as alone as you let yourself be, because there have been many points in my life where I thought I was fucking alone and in the fight alone, until I reached out for help, and then I saw how many people loved me and cared about me and were there for me. So again, sometimes it's just easier to shoot your mouth off to a stranger, and I am always happy to listen. So feel free, if you have something you're working through and just need to chat out or want me to talk about it on the show, send it my way. The email is pretty easy. I'm going to start remembering to put it in the episode notes again. Now that the game of cat and mouse is over. But yeah, just throwing that out there. If it helps one person, it was worth it. So, and it was worth the breath it took to say it. So other than that, I hope you all are having a great morning, evening, afternoon, whatever fucking time it is wherever you are, and I will catch you mob in the next episode. Hooroo.